Hi, everybody. My name is Tim McNibb with Green Science Solutions, and this is the first in a series of conversations we're going to have about how Green Science Solutions really is seeking to engage with the people who engage with the products and the technology that we are putting out in the world, all in an effort to increase sustainability and improve people's cleaning and sanitation process. And as far as that goes, we are thrilled to be joined right out of the gates by Natalie Erskine from F45. And Natalie, where are you? I'm in suburban Minneapolis, and where are you coming to us from today?
I'm coming from Southeast Michigan. We have a studio in Macomb, in West Bloomfield, and soon Midtown Detroit.
So you've got two of them under your belt, and we have been working together, not directly, but you have been using some of the products that we represent, notably SAO, stabilized aqueous ozone, to clean your facilities. And so take us back as we go through the whole pandemic. So last March, when we all started to hear about this and it really started to become a thing, and all of a sudden we had restrictions put on certain things we had to do. So what changed for you as an F45 owner at that time?
We were already using floor cleaner. We were going through and cleaning the rubber floors every day, several times a day with an industrial floor cleaner that we had purchased. We were also using hospital grade sanitization wipes that we were handing out to members during classes. And what I noticed for myself is that I started to wheeze a lot when I was coming in the studio. And we have a couple other people that have some level of asthma, whether it be exercise induced or full blown asthma. And we were kind of all talking about that like heavy wheezy feeling that we would get with all of the chemicals that we were using, whether it be the Clorox wipes or the member wipes for the equipment. And I really didn't think that there was any solution. I mean, it was either we have not a dirty studio, but an infected studio, or we have this chemical problem. And you know, when you're working out, you're often right on the floor and like face to face with the floor cleaner. And I just thought that was the lesser of two evils. So did you want me to keep going, or that's?
So I was to say, so you had a problem. You were mandated that you had to clean. You were using products that you knew were maybe doing what you were being technically asked to do, but they were having a negative impact on you, and you could only guess, on your guests as well. And then how did you become aware of SAO and of it being a potential option for your particular studio?
There's a Facebook group of F45 owners in the United States, and one of the owners in Minnesota, Jamie Kastner, posted, I don't even remember, it was some link, and he said, "This is great, you guys should check it out." I think at this point we were completely shut down. So now I'm faced with not only the heavy chemicals, but also the cost of making my studio compliant when and if we could, well, not if, when we could reopen. I needed to make sure that I had a cost-effective way to do that. So I messaged Jamie, and he wrote back that he was having an interview with you, and I tuned in, and I approached my husband with it because it's, it's an upfront cost that you don't get with buying the bottles and bottles of chemicals, right?
Right.
But as soon as you had mentioned that the University of Michigan uses it, we had my husband hooked. So
at the big house.
Big house.
So we won't go into Michigan football. We won't talk about Minnesota football right now either, okay? Deal?
Everybody has a hard year, right?
Yeah, wow. We've got a couple decades, but we thought we were coming out of this, but I digress. So as all these things happen, we may have said this in a previous conversation, but Jamie and I were Facebook friends. Had never met, and he had said something like on a Sunday morning that sounded so sad and so forlorn about his business. I was like, "Oh, I don't think it's going to be that bad." And then he kind of went into detail about what was going on, and as it was, I had just come into contact with Green Science Solutions less than a month before, and I said, "I actually have something I think that can help you." And what attracted me to Green Science Solutions was this cleaning solution, which was generated on site and on demand, and yet it was all natural. Stronger than chlorine bleach, worked faster than chlorine bleach. I kept going into it, and every night, as I was consulting with them and working with them, I kept saying to my wife, this is too good to be true. I mean, this can't possibly be true. I would have heard about it. I would know about it. And that's why we're having this conversation, Natalie, is because I want people like you who are entrepreneurs. You and your husband have gone out, you've taken a risk. You're going out and starting these things. You're doing something with F45 that you believe you're going to help people. And now you're faced with this thing that's completely out of your control. And so you decided you would take the risk with the upfront cost because you knew it was going to save you money down the road because I told you it would.
Yeah, for sure.
But you decided to give this a shot, and you get it. It arrives. It's a dispenser. You have to install it. It's installed. You start to use it, and your reaction is what?
This is too good to be true.
I know, right?
Our trainers are obsessed with it. They're the ones that are in here all the time. And they're the ones that have to clean between classes. So when I introduced this system to them, they kind of there was no reaction really, because I don't think they really believed it.
Right, it's water.
Right, and when I showed them, we went and bought a chemical sprayer from Home Depot with a rechargeable battery, and I showed them how to use it and fill it up, and I sprayed around, and somebody said, it smells like rain in here. And I was like, exactly, it smells like rain. And from then on, I mean, everybody, when they're hired in here, they're trained on the SAO system. We use it in our industrial floor cleaner that I was telling you we used to fill up with chemicals. And I think I told you this story before, but it took us 2 months of cleaning the floor with nothing but the SAO before the soap stopped coming up out of the floor.
Wow.
So just to put that in perspective for you.
It's rubber flooring?
It's rubber flooring.
Okay.
We were only open for 2 months before we were shut down.
Oh my.
So we had the exact amount of time we used the soap was the amount of time it took to come out of the floor when we started using the SAO. So that's the chemical that people were putting their face on, their hands on every single day when they were working out. It didn't get to this point, but I can imagine that over a couple years of doing that, the floors would be ruined.
Yes, no, and not to mention your other equipment. So this is one of the miracle things, and I guess we you and I both struggled with this can't be real, because you can use it on rubber, you can use it on soft materials, you can use it on hard material, you can use it on wood. It's like how can it do so many things and yet be safe and natural? And yet here we are having this conversation, telling other people it's safe and natural and you can use it on all these things.
Absolutely. And the mini one, I have it here in the studio, but also at home.
The iClean Mini.
Yep, the iClean Mini has completely changed my home routine.
Tell us about that.
I have not used a bottle of cleaner in my home since my shipment arrived, which I don't know, is that July? We fill this up every day and we spray it. I use it for absolutely everything. I use it for glass. I use it for hand sanitizer. We use it for cleaning the table. We use it for, probably I shouldn't admit how many times I do this, but to the door handles in the bathroom. Yeah. A little obsessive. I go around and just spray it, and I don't even wipe it down anymore. Not on handles, just spray it and go. Kids' chairs that they use at the table. Fruit and vegetables.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, just I spray the strawberry. I rinse the strawberries with water and then I spray them, let them sit for 10 seconds. I lettuce when I'm making a salad, just to make sure that all the E. coli is out of there.
Yeah. So I let my 2 daughters take the iClean Mini with them on a trip. They were going out west this summer to look at a college. And I was bringing food home from the grocery store and going, what do I do now? Because you get so reliant on knowing that in a minute it's going to knock out 99.99% of anything that's on those fruits and vegetables, that there's no way I eat any of that stuff now without it. And you were telling me through previous conversation, let's talk about that. You just stay with where you were at home. You're a parent. Yes. So I mean, you've got your kids. And we went to this whole thing this summer of seeing videos where people were lighting hand sanitizer on fire. and talking about the dangers of all this. What does it do for you, peace of mind, to know that, your children, you've removed all of these chemicals away from them, and now you can, basically clean them and their environment with something like this?
I love it. I've reached out to the kids' schools. I know they've got a lot on their plate right now, but I really would love for their schools to get involved in this. Anecdotally, my son got sick in April, not with COVID, but he had a fever and he was sick for a week. And COVID was running rampant, and I had him quarantined in the basement, and my hands were almost bleeding from the cleaning that I was doing of everything he touched, everything I touched, and like just washing my hands and hand sanitizer and the Clorox. My hands were cracked, almost bleeding. My lungs were like, again, that wheezy, like
Right.
not breathing well. That was in April. Obviously I have this now, and my daughter got a cold over the summer, and I went into her bedroom and sprayed her bedspread with this, just like,
Yep.
It's water.
I know that Jamie and Becky, you were talking about the F45 there at Ridgedale here in the Twin Cities, that they take home the leftover SAO and they spray everything. And she says, I spray my plants with it. Why not? Because they just don't dump it down the drain. But if you do, you're not doing any damage, to the environment. So you've got it now in two of your facilities. Your trainers are using this every day. They don't need, we're all regarding now, we're required to wear face masks indoors and certain PPE, but in a real world, you would not need any PPE to use this. So as a person, these people you're responsible for, what does it do for you to know that you're giving them something that not only is going to clean their environment and protect them that way, but not expose them to any risk of anything that they're handling?
I think that's such a benefit of it. To going into business for myself and having employees that's scary. It's scary to be somewhat responsible for the well-being of other people, especially during a global pandemic. And I promised them when this started that I would do everything I could to keep us as safe as possible. Obviously, I can't make any guarantees, but what I love about it is that it's not harming them further. It's not that lesser of two evils. Are we just using tons of chemicals to get rid of the virus, or are we exposing ourselves to the virus so that we don't expose ourselves to tons of chemicals? We don't have to have that choice anymore. And trainers are people that they keep themselves healthy in general. These are people that eat healthfully, that use natural products. So of all the people that I think really bought into this, it was the trainers here.
So you learned about this originally from an F45 owner, and I specifically sought you out, or we did, Green Science Solutions, because we want to reach out to more F45 owners to get your reaction, because we knew it was a leap of faith. And we haven't had the opportunity to work with you one-on-one the way we do with Jamie and Becky, who are here minutes from where we're located. So what would you say as an F45 owner to other F45 owners, or even other gym and fitness center owners regarding the SAO?
I would say this is a win-win solution. It's extremely cost effective. It's health effective, both from the standpoint of protecting us and our members from the virus, but also from eliminating those harsh chemicals from your skin and your respiratory system. And going back to the cost, the upfront cost is not, it's really, when you're opening a studio the size of our studio, and the investment that you're making in the equipment and the tech, the upfront cost of the SAO system is really nothing. It's just when you compare it to a bottle of bleach, you might have a little bit of sticker shock, but we're still going strong on our first cartridge from July. So I've sent this on to my minister, to the kids' schools. It's just, I don't remember the last time I believed in a product enough to just shout it from the rooftops. This works, you have to try this.
Well, this is why we wanted to have this kind of conversation, because it's one thing for us to say it, but it's one thing to have somebody else, who's actually living the experience to say that. And just to be fully upfront, to your upfront investment, if you're not someone who's familiar with this, you're going to be in the neighborhood of $2,000, per unit, and there's delivery and the rest of it. I was going to say under, but your total might be up in that area. But as we say to people, given time, the unit will pay for itself because you're producing this cleaning solution that you're using going forward. You're going to eliminate the need for all this other stuff. You're going to be taking these things out of not only the environment, but all the plastic and everything else that goes through the supply chain. That is all coming out of this too by the fact that you've got this. You do have a cartridge. It does have a lifespan. You're still on the first one. I hope that this one, is it a 24 hour? Do you recall?
No, we went with the 4 hour.
So you've got these 1,600 hours. So it's essentially like, purchasing 1,600 gallons of whatever cleaning solution you would. And for that price tag that we're talking about, where are you going to be able to buy that? So the upfront cost isn't, when you really look at that, it's not, hopefully, it's not prohibitive, but the unit will pay for itself over a period of time. And the one thing, you haven't had to go to yet, and I'm not trying to sell you another product, but I do want you to be aware that we all are also partners with 3M, and 3M offers a handheld device which measures what's on a surface. It doesn't tell you whatever that is, but you could literally take your mats, your floors, your balls, you can swab them. And it's in the video we did with Jamie and Becky. And this is called the LM1. And it will tell you how many relative light units, because every bit of matter gives off energy, how much energy is on that surface. And then you can treat it with your SAO, and then you can look at what that number went from. So like, for instance, we went into a wrestling club, a really elite wrestling facility in the Twin Cities, and looked at a mat. They've been treating it with a chemical, and the reading we got was like 8,000. And then we treated it with SAO. And like 2 minutes later, we gave another reading, and it was like 800. And then we did it again, it was like 200. So like you said, getting that chemical out of there, it was working its way through it in just 2 applications. We took them from the thousands down to the low hundreds, and my expectation is, well, they've had it longer than you have had it, and they love it. They just, same thing. So I wanted to keep this whole conversation, to about the length of a podcast, so somebody could drive in about 20 minutes, get the gist for this whole thing. So I want to give you the last word if I could. And I asked you about what you would say to other F45 owners, but you're a businesswoman, you're an entrepreneur, you're a mother, you're an advocate, you're a citizen of this planet. So somebody may be seeing this and not be a gym owner. Well, I don't own a gym, but maybe, they've obviously got someplace they've got to live and someplace they've got to work. What do you really want them to know about SAO?
You may not have a gym, but if you have any space that's open to the public right now, or if you're worried at all about the sanitizing of your own home, this is a product that absolutely needs to be in your space. So there are businesses certainly that never had to worry about disinfection before. I'm not sure that churches did. I'm not sure that Target did, but now they do. I've always been a little bit of a germaphobe, so my house was a little bit more disinfected than most, but people now are worried about that, whereas they may not have been before. And this product takes away the other dangers of the heavy chemicals. Honestly, I just can't say enough good things about it. My hands are fine. They're not cracking anymore. I can breathe clearly. If it's safe enough to spray your fruit and still the handle of the bathroom, that's win-win.
Natalie Erskine, we really can't thank you enough. You're so gracious and so kind to be the first one out of the gate for this sort of conversation with us. So thank you for being the sort of sacrificial lamb. I told you before we started, if you leave this and you say you didn't have fun, then I did it wrong. Did you have fun?
I had fun. What a blast.
You had to say you're on camera.
I love to talk about
thank you. I want to say Natalie Erskine, she is a co-owner along with her husband of F45 in Macomb and also West Bloomfield in Michigan, with a third one on the way if everything progresses as is. Our governor, Tim Walz, is coming out at 6 o'clock tonight to talk about new restrictions for the state of Minnesota. Your governor, Gretchen Whitmer, just came out recently and put more restrictions in place. We all know we've got to get this all under control so we can all move forward. How much better would the world be if everybody knew about stabilized aqueous ozone?
It'd be pretty great.
It'd be pretty great. Well, you're helping by getting the word out there. Natalie Erskine, I can't thank you enough. You are so generous for being my guest today. And I hope we can stay in touch and check in again. And feel free to let us at GSS know, how things are going. And if you have any suggestions on how we can be better, we're all ears.
Will do.
All right. Be well. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.